Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Can you hear me? Well, good, because we're going to talk about sound today. A sneaky little thyroid symptom is being overly sensitive to sound. I personally experienced this where my thyroid wasn't working well. And as time went on, I became super jumpy. If somebody shut a door too loud, I would jump. If someone came up behind me and even said my name in a normal volume, I would, don't scare me. That is very common with a hypothyroid situation, meaning that your T4 is not converting well to T3, and it impacts the way that you hear and also the way that you perceive sound. Part of that is because the adrenals become really, really taxed. And we've talked a lot about the adrenals, but our adrenal glands help us respond to sound. They originally helped us to respond to sounds in the wild. So if we heard a twig snap or we heard the wolf howl, we would respond to that sound accordingly and we would take action based on what we heard. Now, when your thyroid's not working great, those adrenals become overburdened. And our response to sound sometimes gets over exaggerated. So someone comes up behind you and you, that is a very common hypothyroid symptom. The other thing that can happen is that T3 is really important for actual perception of sound. And if you're not converting T4 to T3 well, it can dampen your ability to hear. So you might notice that you're having to turn the TV volume up louder, or you're asking people to repeat themselves. That is a good indication your hormones aren't converting well or aren't getting into the cells. The third thing that I see frequently is women develop a ringing in the ears. This is something that I struggled with. I still actually struggle with, but it started when I was in my teen years and was having a lot of problems with my thyroid, and I developed a ringing. Now, there's a lot of reasons that that can happen, but the one I see most commonly in terms of thyroid disease is actually anemia. So, if your iron stores are low, it can cause that ringing in the ears, and that ringing in the ears then can cause problems with hearing. So, specifically in terms of iron, it's the ferritin, which is your storage form of iron. That low ferritin, if it's low, it will cause the ringing. So the question becomes, why is ferritin low? Why is the thyroid not converting T4 to T3? Because the answer to both of those questions is usually the same, and it's usually in the gut. So sneaky infections like yeast, bacteria, fungus, mold, they oftentimes will steal iron from the foods that we eat, and our iron stores will go down. Now, if we don't have enough iron, we don't have the ability to deliver T3 to the cells. So ferritin, I often describe as a taxi cab. It picks up the T3, it drives it over to the cell, and it ushers it in. Fabulous. Now, if you're already not converting T4 to T3 well, and then you don't have enough ferritin, the taxi cabs, to take it to the cells, well, your hearing's going to decrease, and also you may develop that ringing in the ears. So if you're experiencing any of that, it's likely related to something sneaky in the gut that is affecting your adrenals, your thyroid, and your iron levels. So the best way to know if that's going on is to do the organic acids and the mycotoxin test. That one will look at mold, yeast, fungus, bacteria, and it will tell us if any of those are preventing you from converting your T4 to T3 or from absorbing really important nutrients that we need to get the thyroid working. So you can learn more about that test in the link below. I have a masterclass where I talk about these tests that I use to find the sneaky cause of all thyroid problems, but specifically hearing. And then let me know below, have you had any problems with hearing loss, ringing in the ears, not being able to hear as well as you used to, needing to lip read? Tell me, how has your hearing been? And I'll talk to you soon.